Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions regarding this watch. Once upon a time, Helmut Sinn, when he was still running the company bearing his name out of Frankfurt, took the Heuer Leonidas Bund 1550, issued to the German Armed Forces. He refitted them, retrofitted them, serviced them, and rebranded them. They became the Sinn 155. Well, a generation of watch design after that, some of these watches came back, and with modifications and a new Lemania 5100 caliber, the 156 was born in the 1980s. It was then produced for about 2 decades after its debut, a reliable military aviator's chronograph for the German Armed Forces, and the watch you see here pays homage to that pilot's chronograph. This is the 156.1E. Now, there are two 2024 models in the reborn 156.1 line. There's the 156.1, which is a little bit more conventional, and then there is the E, which is the one we have right here, which is a 300-piece limited edition in steel with a tegamented bezel. So a couple things that set this apart. First, we have that anthracite bezel. There's no red accenting on the dial. We have a triple display or triple window Colesman altimeter inspired date readout. And then we've got some photina going on here that adds a little bit of warmth to the otherwise cool grayscale watch. So that is what makes the E distinct, along with the limited edition of 300 pieces. In terms of how it fits, it's a large watch, but not overpoweringly large. It's 43 millimeters in diameter. I measure it 15.8 millimeters thick. Lug tip to lug tip is where things get fairly broad at 51.1 millimeters if we count just the case. And if we encounter the end links themselves, then it's going to be a beefy 56.7 millimeters across the wrist with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now you can see on my wrist, it's a big watch. I actually wouldn't wear this on a wrist smaller than mine. So my wrist is 16 centimeters, and I consider that to be the minimum to wear this well. You can see from over the top, down the barrel, and the cuff shot. The cuff shot illustrates that this watch will in fact slip underneath a dress cuff. The case back is so cupped that you can actually strap it onto your wrist or set it on your wrist, and then it'll sink down enough to clear a dress sleeve. So it's fairly remarkable in that regard. You can see the finishing here is all media blast, which I like because in my opinion, it doesn't really show marks quite the way brushed finishes do. And if it never needs to be refinished, if it ever goes back to the factory to be refinished, they can just blast it again rather than trying to wear down through a dent the way they do, or wear down through a scratch, removing material to polish. So this can just be blasted again to restore the finish. Of course, we've got strap tool holes in the lugs, as Sinn still believes its tool-style watches will be used by those who love swapping straps out, putting on OEM and aftermarket options. And I should mention this watch does come with an accessory leather strap plus a tool to do that swapping. The bracelets are robust pieces. You can see its most notable feature, the use of hex head screws rather than flathead. The idea is that this type can take a lot more torque for security of assembly without stripping out compared to a flathead. There is a dive-style extension, even though this is not a dive watch, but it's good to know it's there. There are 3 pairs of divots that allow you to move the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the bracelet in the clasp for better fit. And then we've got a thick gauge, single swing arm steel action. And then we have a little clamshell lock on top of the clasp body. Rolling back to the case, you can see that we have a Sinn branded crown. Now the watch does feature a screw down crown. It is 100 meters water resistant, so though aviation inspired, it's still definitely aquatic capable. The case is simple. And you can see when I say the case back is cupped, exactly what I mean by that. Taking a quick look at the bezel, you can see that it is captive in design, which means we have these little lateral screws. That's a distinctive trait of Sinn bezel design. Those screws hold the bezel to the case, so it can't accidentally be snapped off inadvertently like a Tag or a Rolex or an Omega bezel can be. Now this is a hard tegament bezel. So tegament is a carbon diffusion treatment that Sinn applies to steel that makes it almost as hard and scratch resistant as ceramic. Then a hard anthracite coating that's even harder than the tegument is applied over the base metal. Remember that we're just talking about the bezel here. The rest of the case is not tegument, but the bezel is. So you have that hard coating over the tegument to make the bezel sort of like the heat shield for your watch, as most impacts are going to hit the bezel first, and it will be very resistant to scratching. You can see this is a bidirectional bezel. It actually glides. It might glide on a Norglide bearing or Teflon of some kind, because it features absolutely no indexing or click. It's just a completely smooth glide. Line it up with either of the primary hands, and I should note it is primarily designed to interact with the minute hand, but then you have another timing instrument that you can use alongside the chronograph, which you will note features semi-instantaneous jumping minutes. Quick loom shot, just so you know exactly what we're dealing with in the dark. You can see that bezel pearl is absolutely huge. We have a syringe-style minute hand and then a baton-style hour hand with a little aeronautical index or airplane-style chronograph minutes register. By the way, radially displayed minutes. It, just like the chronograph seconds, is centrally mounted, so you get 60 seconds and you get 60 minutes. Now, SZ01, which you see on the dial, that means it is Sinn's modification of the Valjoux 7750. So the big change is that it gets this central 60-minute register, because the original 156 would have used a Lemania 5100, which would have had a central minutes register. So this has been modified to work like a Lemania 5100 in terms of how it displays chronograph time. We have running seconds. We also have chronograph hours. You can see it is a matte dial designed for minimal glare. Frankfurt, that is where the company is located. This is a German watch. And then we have this Colesman style window. It's a Colesman style altimeter inspired triple date. The idea here being to give the watch a little bit of a different look from the other 24 156.1 model. That one has a single date window. This one has a triple. SC01 is otherwise mechanically just like a 7750. So unidirectional automatic winding, 4 Hertz beat rate, 42-hour power reserve, stop seconds, quick set date, a cam-based function selector with an oscillating pinion engagement. And the oscillating pinion engagement is always the fascinating part of any 7750. Watch the chrono seconds hand as I start it. See how there's no jump there? An oscillating pinion is a type of lateral clutch that has very little play, almost operating as seamlessly as a vertical clutch. A lot of folks don't realize every 7750 variant has that feature, and it's actually making a comeback on high-end chronos from De Bethune and F.P. Journe and Richard Mille, so just something to take note of. You can't see the case back, but there's not much to see. There's no window, there's no display. It notes that the watch is 100 meters water-resistant and made of stainless steel, both of which are absolutely true. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.